morning. We're back. Day 7, we're going to put it all together into a little bit of flow. And now that you know some of the tools in your toolbox, you can whip out some socks, do some pikes, squeeze blocks between the thighs. You can take that supported fish, right? You have lots of options to integrate based on how you're feeling this morning or afternoon or evening whenever you're tackling this. So definitely do whatever you need to set yourself up for this. And we're going to set ourselves up right on our back. So we're going to set up supine twist. Do a little inventory. You can pick a side, tuck one knee, both knees, wrap eagle legs, lots of options. And keeping in mind, you can come back to this again and again. We're going to move right through them. And as I said yesterday, a little dab will do you. The more you come back to these various inversions, the stronger you'll get. It really doesn't take a lot to start to build some muscular memory around the movements. And as you bring your knees to the other side, right, just noticing where you are energetically. You know, maybe your low back is still a little tight. Maybe now you're going to hit pause and do a couple of things to set yourself up. Even if it's just some basic foam rolling or lingering here in supine twist. But as you come, you know, when you're ready through center, tuck knees. You're going to rock and roll your way maybe through boat, but eventually cross your legs, come on to all fours, and we'll set up a little cat and cow. So as always, you're taking whatever you need here, hip side to side. Maybe it's more just stretching through the neck. Right, again, doing a little inventory. Make sure you're taking care of this body. And we're going to come right through your upward facing. Maybe it's baby cobra or sphinx, but some variation. Again, heart opening, integrating the back side of your body. So not just resisting the weight coming towards the mat. You want to recreate locus. And as you bend your elbows a little and come down to your mat, that's where we're headed. So right into locus, come onto your belly, arms reach behind you. You can interlace them or use airplane arms. You can use any variation of the arms, but lifting to lengthen. So really work the inhales. And I want to cut off the breath, and that's typically the first thing we do as we come into these postures. So take one more breath in, lengthen, get a little lift, and exhale, gently come down. Get a good breath here. And then we'll plant the palms to come up through your tabletop. Downward facing. As you get the hips up and back, we'll take three-legged dog first. So right hip peels open. Bend a knee. Wiggle out some toes. Do all the things. We're getting right to it this morning, so release your right foot, open the left side. We'll try to even you out. Active in the breath, in the belly, the pelvic floor. And pressing the shoulders away from your ears. And release, left foot to your mat. So you don't have to come into your handstand, but we're going for it. So right leg is going to lift. Remember, you have that crowbar leg straight and strong. Yeah, remember, just like cartwheels, you can always come down. Otherwise, check out the other side. You can check out some frog jumps. And we're going to pike to land at the front of the mat. So pike those hips. Boom. All by surprise for Pamela. Find your rag doll for just a moment. Nice job. 87. Inhale to lengthen. And release to fold. You're going to come all the way to standing for a moment. And you're going to sink Utkatasana. Getting the hips way back, remembering the back side of your body, a little bit of balance, and then Uttanasana fold. Come on down. Inhale to lengthen. And step back to Chaturanga. Knees are up or down. You don't want to kind of waste any strength this morning. So if you want to save it and go right to down dog, that's on offer. Otherwise, hips up and back. Right foot steps, warrior one. Get a breath or two. Maybe you're stretching up and over and side to side. We're going to peel open to warrior two. Right? Again, another breath or two. Remember, all the way back to hard pose, that formidable posture. We're going to reverse the warrior. As you windmill the palms to your mat, hips are staying high, pressing high as you step back towards that down doggish. Low plank elbows, chin comes down. Yeah, look at you go. Upward facing. Slow it down. Exhale, downward facing. Nice job. Left foot steps, warrior one. Right? Active recovery, so just land. It could be a hot mess. Don't worry about it. Don't think about what it looks like. Just feel your way into the body. Peel open, warrior two, right? Gathering up some strength, some energy. Reverse it. And as you release towards high plank, hips come high, low plank, elbows in, chin comes down, and a hiya, right into your upward facing. Slow it down, yeah. And downward facing to pause. Just a moment here. Release your knees to the mat, child's pose. Just grab a breath or two. Maybe you surprised yourself like Pamela did, and legs are slinging around above you a little more freely this morning. That's great. And it could also be that you feel like a 1,000-pound rock. Also okay, because those kind of mornings happen as well. That would be me today. All right, once you got your breath back, we're going to come through to tabletop, and we're going to set up your dolphin. So coming towards your headstand, if you want to take the little three-legged doggy version of dolphin a couple times, you can. Otherwise, we're going to keep the hands interlaced and open the palms so that you plant your head again, almost like you can, frame your head. And walk the toes in, yeah. And we're going to start to one leg at a time, reach up, and then the other. Remember, we're going to keep the weight a little more in the elbows, yeah. Yeah. We're going to press through the balls of the feet. And then we're going to slowly start to come down, just one leg at a time, really piking from the hips to child's pose. Nice job. You may have noticed energy might be plummeting off a cliff right now. There's so much that happens physiologically, I'm sure neurologically as well, in these postures. Especially if you're still having these oblique moments. So take as much rest as you need. Make sure you're, dabbling off the sweat. We want to make sure the elbows don't come out on us. And once you feel like you got a little bit of energy left, we're going to go straight for your tripod. We still got some forearm balance to go, so in case you need, as you come through tabletop, hips come up and back, and all we're going to do is step through low lunge to find Prasarita. So left leg steps forward for Pamela. Right, we're turning sideways, and we're going to find that forward fold. First thing you want to do is find the hamstrings. Remind those little suckers of the stretch. We did a lot of strength work, kicking towards the sky, a lot of back body work, but now we want the stretch. And that's just going to allow you to bring your self a little closer to find the palms. That's really the first trick. And again, you can rock the weight a little front to back, just as Pamela did. You can roll up your mat, you can find a little towel or not too much of a cushion. You want something that can be flat, like maybe a heavy blanket or something, right? So as you lean a little forward, you're gonna find your head down first, yep. Make sure, so slowly, yeah, feet are gonna work wide. You're gonna tilt the tailbone, yeah, and then come up from strength. Yeah. And then slow as you can, feet come wide. Remember, we're working the strength. And then we're tilting, hinging, slowly, slowly, boom. And then come on down. Nice job. Remember, today we're saving a little bit of energy because you still have your forearm balance, but you can always come up and down once or twice, maybe 3 or 4 times max, so that you're working the pikes, right? You can bring feet to touch while you do that, or keep them wide. But working coming in and out of the posture are the hardest part. So as you work them, remember, you're building the strength and stamina. Once you get into the posture, you're in balance. So that's a whole lot easier. Coming in and out is where most of the work is going to happen. Most of the strength and foundation is going to happen. So be patient with yourself. Know you're doing the good work. It's going to support your cervical spine when you take these postures. As you come back to your tabletop, draw off your forearms. Remember, we're setting up dolphin, but with the block framing thumbs and pointers. And looking up towards the block. Remember, short stance, hips are high, just like you did for your handstand. One leg comes up, and boom. Remember that locust strength, press and lengthen. And then as slow as you can, one leg at a time, comes gently down. And we'll come back to child's pose for just a moment. Nice work. It's incredible. Yeah. I think the element of surprise is also helpful. That's now the second or third time Pamela's done forearm balance. So yeah, in working through all of the other postures, forearm balance becomes a little more accessible, building strength pretty quickly through this short series. I think the last time, Pamela, you said you did inversions was like 3 years ago in teacher training. So yeah, once you have it in there somewhere, you'll never lose it, and it's something you can come back to. So come through tabletop. This time cross your legs, come onto your bum. We'll find Viparita Karani for just a moment. So on your back, legs up, just 5. You can take a block, your palms, cushion underneath the hips if you want. Just transitioning. Maybe you gotta wiggle out toes, roll out ankles, or you're just glad to be laying on your back. So the full expression of your forearm balance, by the way, or I should say, I think it was hard pose. Yeah, hard pose has arms in various positions, legs coming up and over onto your head and on the floor in front of your face, all kinds of crazy things, which we have skipped. But certainly there's deeper progressions you can work towards if this felt all good on the spine. For now, you're going to come up into your bridge. Drop your feet underneath your knees. Go ahead and press the hips up. And we're going to work the heels of your palms underneath your hips, if your arms still work. So you're trying to wiggle onto the tops of your shoulders. So tuck your chin, wiggle, wiggle. You're going to frame the fingers to face out, if that works. So you're going to wrap your hands around the waist. One leg at a time, kind of kicking up. And then moving mindfully, if that works, towards your shoulder stand. Yep. So here we're going to try and get, and I'm going to stabilize Pamela. Exactly. She kind of did the self-adjustment. You can see getting ankles, give or take over the hips, give or take over the shoulders. And you want to make sure you're still breathing. If your breath has started to stop suddenly, maybe don't do halasana, but if you want to explore reaching one or both legs at a time, either they're just reaching, or they come to the floor, or you bend your knees a little for deaf men's pose. Either bring knees to forehead, Karnapidasana, or your ears. But if either one of those spaces start to suffocate you, and to be honest, sometimes if you have larger breasts, they might be suffocating you. You want to come out of it, all right? Remember, yoga is when you're breathing, so don't sacrifice that. Sits bones are still reaching to the sky. And eventually, we're going to roll ever so slowly out of your pose, whichever variation you're in, and we'll come right into Shavasana, letting the legs extend down the mat. And then honestly, just coming back to the sensation of your body. Feeling how connected you are, right? Remembering back to the 30 days and the 20 days. This is really the goal of the pranayama and the physical practice, to bring consciousness through the rest of your body. It's often isolated in the brain. Some of you may tend to get migraines or stress headaches just by clenching the jaw. But notice how connected you are to your body. Might be able to feel the sweat trickling off somewhere, the heat. Your heartbeat. So as always, if you have time to linger, go for it. It's not often we get time to rest, which we so desperately need, especially these days. So take it if you can. Otherwise, just take yourself ever so slowly through maybe the side body or tucking your knees, however you arrive, to place yourself on purpose, just like we did in all of the inversions. Find that comfortable seated position, stack the spine again, and bringing this with you through the rest of your day, right? Some things in your day might feel just as impossible, but remember, you were just slinging your feet above your head, kind of winging it, some of us, and doing our best to come down and try it again. So palms come to heart center with gratitude, especially for you all, for Pamela, for this 7 days, a little bit of focus and a little shift in energy, right? Thumbs to forehead center, together we bow and we say namaste. So thank you so much. And if you're joining us for the next 7 days of arm balances, we'll see you then. Otherwise, when you come back to these videos when you can. Toodles.